We will call to order the regular meeting of the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for Tuesday, February 10th, 2015. Good morning, everyone. My name is Langdon Newell. I'm chairman of the board. Seated to my left is Commissioner Marisol Hernandez, and Commissioner Richard Cowan is ill. We'll move to the first item on the agenda, and that is the consideration of the minutes for Monday, January 26th. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez. I'll second. All those further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. We'll now move to the Executive Director's report. Mr. Goff.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to let you know, early vote started yesterday. We had over 5,500 people take advantage of it. Another 200 have taken advantage of grace period registration. All the sites are up and running. They're with minimum problems so far.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Absentee voting is going well. There was a backlog, but everything's taken care of. We just yesterday released the 50th ward ballots, so those are being mailed out. Pre-trial detainees, that stuff has already gone over to the 26 in Cal, so everything seems to be going well right now.
All righty. Anything else from Mr. Goff?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, just to let,
Yeah.
I was.
I was
I
wondering when you wanted to do
I
that.
haven't had a chance to talk to staff.
Yes.
but Today we found out that Alderman JoAnn Thompson passed away late last night. Ballots have already been printed, early voting has already started. Staff is meeting right now to figure out how we're going to redo this. If we reprint all early voting sites, something that we're looking into, hopefully give you an answer in the next 2 hours, Mr. Chairman.
Very sorry to hear about, prayers go out to the family of JoAnn Thompson. I assume, Mr. Scanlon, that you'll prepare a notice that we can post in the early voting sites as soon as possible.
I will, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All righty. We'll move to Assistant Executive Director, Ms. Bateman, smiling this morning.
Yes,
Good
2
thing.
weeks from today, so yes. All as well as Mr. Goff mentioned. Registration, everything was, the files were finished, applications for ballot printed. As you know, we still print the applications for ballot. So everything's going well. Warehouse pre-lat completed. ESCs started deliveries yesterday, so those are moving along. So everything's working well. The absentees are going well. Judges of election training classes, we're into like our 3rd week of election judge training. So everything's going well.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. All righty. Mr. Allen, for us this morning.
Thank you for your deft handling of the early voting kickoff yesterday. That went well. The mass mailing to the million voter households is on the streets. We have to follow up now with the Postal Service, make sure that all those pieces get delivered. Those contain, of course, the early voting site for that ward, as well as the election day polling place. On that topic, Ms. Irons has secured all of the polling places for election day. Normally we have a few where there are emergency situations, knock on wood. We won't have to change any more from here on out, so all 2,069 are locked in. And we posted those to the website already, and we're set.
And I heard that both you and Mr. Goff have guaranteed there'll be no snow in Chicago for the next 2 weeks.
That's partly right, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for?
No.
No? Okay. We'll move to our old business agenda, infrastructure projects and changes in election administration.
Mr. Chairman, we can put that to the side.
Put that on the side till we get through the election.
Yes, sir.
Electronic poll books, Ms. Bateman.
All is going well.
Okay. Voting equipment, anything, Paige, anything for us today?
No, sir, everything's going very well.
All righty, thank you. Legislation, Mr. Scanlon, anything to talk about today?
Mr. Chairman, I'll have some memoranda for the commissioners later today with regard to legislation that's been recently introduced. So I'll pass that along to you.
Removal of judges of election, Mr. Scanlon.
Mr. Chairman, we have two judges of election that staff has recommended that they be removed as judges of election. We have one, Randy Johnson, who served in the 18th precinct of the 49th ward in the November election. And it was discovered that Mr. Johnson had open alcohol on school premises on election day. So the recommendation is that he be formally removed as a judge of election. We also have Judge of Election Spencer Roman, who served in the 27th precinct of the 32nd ward at the November 4th election. And subsequent to the day of the election, it was learned that there was a confrontation in the cafeteria lunchroom of a Chicago public school, and the judge of election in question used some inappropriate language in a discussion with the lunchroom manager and in front of school children. So the recommendation is that this individual be removed formally as a judge of election. So,
All right, is there a
Um,
motion?
Yes, a motion to approve the order and notice of removal for Mr. Randy Johnson and Spencer Roman.
I'll second that motion. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson and Mr. Roman are removed.
thank you.
Thank you. Legal report, anything, Mr. Scanlon?
Mr. Chairman, we have two judicial reviews remaining, and one of them is up at 10:30 this morning for ruling, and that's in the 27th ward. We have one that's up for hearing on a motion to dismiss tomorrow morning at 9:30, and that should then conclude judicial review in the Circuit Court of Cook County on all matters arising out of the electoral board proceedings that took place in December and January. So, so we're moving toward conclusion of the litigation. There are
Not a minute too soon.
right. There are two matters that are up in the appellate court, and I think I've tried to keep commissioners and staff abreast as to where we are with those two matters. But, you know, slowly but surely, we're moving toward conclusion of litigation as far as ballot access is concerned.
Well, what two wards are affected in the circuit court?
Well, today's in the 27th ward,
Okay.
and that is up for ruling. Tomorrow, it's in the 7th ward. And as of right now, both candidates are on the ballot.
Okay. All righty. We do not have a financial report this morning, so we'll move to the public comment section. Anyone here to want to speak to us today? All righty. Go at it.
How you doing?
Good. Good morning.
Chairman, Commissioners. My name is James Macklin. I'm outreach coordinator for the 6th Ward GOP office.
Okay.
And what I've come across is that we had judges from the November election that didn't get picked. We're calling back again like I've called over 500, and out of the 500, 400 is calling me back, asking me, where's my letter to be appointed somewhere? So that's my concern, is that the same people we submitted over again to the board is not getting called back again. So, you know, that causes concern, and that looks bad on our, they're saying that we're not counting, we're counting them out. Right.
What did you do with when
We
they
have the
told you that?
applications, yes.
What did you do when they told you that?
What we do is, we'll call down here ourselves, or we'll tell them to call as well, to see where the process of the application is at. And when they do call, they say they don't have any applications. And I know myself, I personally submitted myself to the board.
Okay. We have.
Kelly, do you want to say
Sure,
anything to this?
Sixth Ward,
Mhm.
correct? Okay, I can talk to the clerk
But
of the
then,
Sixth Ward and
but
find
the
out
thing
what.
about it though is, we're handling more than 6 wards. We're handling maybe 10 different wards.
No, it's 17.
17 wards, I'm sorry, 17 wards.
And where are the applications right now for these individuals?
I have some with me.
Okay, and we don't have those applications
Yes,
here?
I mean, some that were submitted,
Okay, so,
that's here. Yes.
right, but the ones you have with you, we don't have?
No.
Okay, so we, okay.
And how many do you have with you? I'm
I
sorry.
have about, I think it's about 200.
Are those originals?
No, these are copies.
Okay, we
That
want-
we have,
Yeah.
that we've contacted them over and over again, trying to get them, interested in the election process.
Where's the original application?
Yeah.
The board should have the
Oh, so
original.
we do have the original. Did
The
these
board should have the
people,
originals, because some of these are back from
Right.
October 2014.
did these people serve in the November election?
No,
Okay.
that was never called.
Okay. Okay, I can check with the clerk for the
Okay.
Sixth Ward and,
All right. I mean, it's also the 3rd,
Okay.
the
Oh, okay.
4th, 21st.
Okay.
I mean, it's almost, basically, we were handling all the wards, basically, for the city.
okay. We did go to our surplus from November for judges for this coming election. As you know, we sent out yes/no cards.
Yes.
If we didn't receive a yes/no card back from a judge who worked in November, then we went to our surplus applications. So we did look at the applications that we had from November to try to fill vacancies for February.
And also.
Well, our
I'm sorry,
evidence would dispute that.
Wait,
because
Miss Maroney?
Also,
Explain that why that's
with the
not
cards, and a lot of our judges said they not getting cards that when served in November, a lot of them didn't get a card asking them to serve again.
Right, and at the last meeting, I did ask Ms. Maloney to give me names of those people because I can guarantee that every judge who served in November, if they served in the precinct where they were assigned to, they should have received a yes/no card unless they moved or there was a problem with their
I
address.
personally know about 10 people
Can you get us
myself.
those names?
Yes.
Okay, if you get us those names, we'll look into what happened because
Okay.
that's how the system runs, is if you are active and you served in the last election, you should receive a yes/no card asking you to come back for the next election. So if there's an issue with judges who worked in November but did not receive a yes/no card, we need to know about it, but we need specific names
Okay.
and addresses.
That yes/no card is generated off of the check that was paid to the judges.
Yeah.
So if they got a check, then
They should have gotten a
should got
yes/no card. Absolutely.
And that's why we need to know what's the problem is with the post office or
Right,
what.
yeah.
Okay,
All right.
let me suggest this. Can we get somebody to make a copy of what Mr. Macklin has? Okay, Ms. Agnew? We're going to make a copy of what you have,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to give you back your copies.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait,
And
wait,
then-
do that till after the meeting.
We're not,
No, well, I
after the
actually
meeting?
might have to cover for Mr. Scanlon, so I prefer to do it now. Is that-
After the meeting, good.
Is it all right if I just?
Well, what's the difference between
just
doing it
need to
now
make
and
a
at the
copy of
meeting
one,
if
the
it's?
copy or
What
one
difference
back.
are you giving them? We have multiple copies of our applications. I'm not trying to frustrate the process. I want to know which ones he's turning in.
These are the ones that have to be data entered.
It has to be data entered, are we still, okay.
On your end?
We've already submitted them to you twice,
Okay,
actually.
all
You
right.
guys have 2 copies of these already.
Ms.
You're
Maroney,
welcome to recopy.
Here's what we want to do. We just want to return Mr. Macklin's information to him. So we're going to make copies, and then Mr. Macklin, how best do we communicate with you? Through email?
Yes, or you can give me a call back at 312 267 1111 or 1110.
Do you use email?
Yes.
Okay.
And also,
Could you write your email address down?
Yes.
Because I'd like us to go through these, and then we can email Mr. Macklin about what the results of our information, so we have a record.
Thank you.
Before our next speaker rises, I want to put this in context. This recruitment project that we started, I came to you in October 28th and reported that we had submitted 2,000 election judges that were never contacted or placed, and the board assured us that you were working from our supplemental list. And we found that not one of those judges, or very few of them, were placed. So when we began to get calls that none of our judges were being... Let me just...
No, I'm sorry. It's Mr. Macklin's turn to speak. I'll give you an opportunity, Ms. Maroney.
I just want to put this in context.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's Mr. Macklin's turn. The gentleman next to you will be next. Mr. Macklin, have you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next.
You tell us.
My name is Carlos Trigger. I am a disabled veteran. I reside in the 6th Ward. I participated in this project, and in this project I found that more than 2,000 judges have never been really assigned.
Okay, I'm sorry, what project?
This project as far as to get your placement of judges, or lack of placement in these judges. I find it ironic when you said email. Out of about 400 calls that I had made, only one person said the board ever got in touch with them on their email. Okay, added on to this, this is continually being, the parties are continually being shorted judges. We've been doing it in such a systematic fashion, I think it's already probably reached legal terms already, since most of you are already lawyers anyway.
Yes, we are.
So therefore, it should be decided sooner or later in court. But I'm really surprised at the wards that you continually do this in, 16th, 17th Ward, 5th Ward, which predominantly are black, out of a total of 17 wards. If we had the Hispanic participation in language, I think it would already be increased by double what it is. It's a game you've been playing for a while. And like I just said, and you smile too, Mr. Chairman, this is headed to the lawyers. But to forestall the wasting of money and time, this is the thing we have to go through. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your comment. I'm not sure what's going to go to court, but we try to, as you know, we try to place judges. We work with our judges program extensively. Believe you me, we want good, qualified, competent judges. I say that on the top of the mountain every day. I've been at this job for 18 years. I've spent an incredible amount of time working to find good judges. So, for whatever that's worth. Ms. Maroney.
Thank you for acknowledging me. Now, and sorry, I wanted to put this in context, hopefully avoid some, unnecessary conversation. So we submitted the 2,000 judges to the board in October 2014 through a period of a couple of weeks where we did intensive outreach. And at that point, because of the 45-day statutory period, we were inside what would be called the chairman's supplemental list. And we were assured by the board that our candidates were being placed. We saw no evidence of it. Following that election, we have, Vice Chairman Darnell Macklin will bring evidence of, I think, about 15 or so people that did not get their yes/no cards. We have actually accumulated that evidence for you, Kelly, and we'll be able to give it to you. But in addition to that, before we even get to the 2,000 judges, I want to mention that if the board failed to send yes/no cards to all of the Republican judges that were commissioned, then you took a disciplinary action against those.
And we did not, Ms. Maroney. We have said, I don't know how many ways and times that we sent them out. Now, whether the post office delivered them properly or improperly, that's out of our control.
to make up.
Yes.
Ms. Maroney, the only ones who will receive a yes/no card, it's not all the judges who were commissioned, it's judges who served at the election. So maybe if that's the misunderstanding, that the names that you have are people who didn't work, but that's who we send them to, are the judges that worked.
In
I
the
actually
November
am not
At the
election.
misunderstanding that.
November elections.
I'm not misunderstanding that, I'm challenging it. I'm saying that
Well,
if judges
that's-
didn't
that's-
show that they should be, if they're still commissioned, they still are legally
Okay,
judges.
send us the people and we'll find out.
Excellent.
They're
Let me
not
move to that part of our
Let's move-
conversation.
let's
So
move on.
out of the 2,000 judges, because I know how we don't have much time to talk, so I'm not trying to push.
No, I usually give you free
You do,
access.
you're great.
I give you plenty of time to talk, Ms. Morales.
2,000 judges, our team's called 1,000 of them, and none of them have been contacted by the board. So that means
Who are
when we
these
submitted
judges?
these judges to you in October, the board, they put them in
Okay,
a
were
filing
these
cabinet.
okay, but going back to what Ms. Bateman said, are these judges that worked at the November election or not?
These are our judges that were submitted in October for the chairman's supplemental list,
So
and then should
some
have
of them
been
may
hired.
have, okay, Kelly, can
Sorry,
you?
I'm so sorry, but, so just in responding to Ms. Maroney,
I think it's
some of
finished.
the applications that were submitted, the individuals were not registered to vote. The application was incomplete. So for some reason, the application was not something that we could use. If the application's incomplete, we usually contact the judge to try to get it complete, because, again, we want judges.
Yeah.
So we try. Some of those individuals, those applications, the people are now registered, and we did pull them from the surplus, and we are using many of the applications that Ms. Maroney submitted as judges for February.
Okay, can we create a list that we can distribute or communicate with people? Because we have such a gap in communication.
Well, but a
Yeah.
list goes out weekly to Chairman Del Mar of the list of judges who are working for February, and
Okay.
that list will contain many of the judges.
All right, let me just finish then, if I may, please. What Ms. Kelly said is not borne out by the facts of the matter, because indeed, we personally checked the voter registration status of the applications, and we wrote the numbers in on them, number one, and number two, we contacted the 2,000 judges, and 95% said that they had no contact whatsoever with the board. So then what we did is we isolated it to 500 judges who said they were really eager to work, they wanted to be Republican judges. And so we assigned them to make it the easiest as possible for the board, the least disruptive, because we really care about smooth elections, and also the law. And the law says these judges have to be assigned to their home precinct. So we assigned them to their home precinct. Now, we're a small group, we don't have a lot of funds, and we're just rapidly doing our own data entry right now. But out of these 500 judges that we submitted, we studied 126, I personally did last night until wee hours of the morning, and tried to track what happened to them at the board. Now, these were given to you, resubmitted. They were first submitted in October as supplemental.
When were the 500 submitted,
They've
and to
been,
whom?
the last 2 weeks, and so I'm.
To whom?
To the board, actually the last 3 weeks. And and we have them stamped, by the way, and we recorded all of our phone calls on the same applications we gave you in October, and recorded who talked to the judge, and what the judge said, and who recorded if they had been contacted by the board. So we have evidence that we will be able to support to prove that the board has not been contacting the GOP judges. And now, out of those 126, if I may give a copy here to the board, what I did is
I don't want to, if you could just give it to Ms. Bateman.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What we did is we looked at what happened to them. 69 of them were actually placed. Out of those 69, 17 were moved out of their precinct without explanation. 9 were moved out of their precinct because their precinct was full.
Okay.
We had an additional 59 that were not contacted and have not been placed.
So
we have
69 on this list are actually now, your list, are actually will serve as a judge of election for us.
Well, we are actually protesting a large
No,
number.
no. You're not answering my question, because I'm just trying to ask you what you just said. Of your list that you just tendered to us, 69 have been selected to work for us
Correct.
this election.
Out of 126,
Okay,
which is
okay.
a 48% fail rate.
Well,
If anybody,
so we need to figure out now why there's a fail rate, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
What happens to our judges? And why were 17 of them, of those 67, moved without reason? When the law says we're supposed to assign them to a precinct, when we do them and you guys move them, it undermines the entire election judge program. Because we're supposed to assign them and we did that.
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Maroney?
Darnell.
I'll be brief.
Mr. Mack.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Commissioner,
Good morning.
Executive Director Scott, Council, and staff. I rise this morning to speak with you on a couple of issues, and most of them I've only stated it already. But on behalf of the chairman, I was over the project to recruit competent, qualified, and good election judges, and it's getting better.
Good. Thank you.
And so I echo your concerns with respect to that, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to address two quick things. I have a listing of about 25 people who actually served in the last election. Long-term judges, like Mr. Carlos Strickland, he's part of our organization, he's a paid staff member. He served over 4 or 5 elections, 4 or 5, 6 years. He never received a card. One of my other staff members never received a card. And so we went through the list, so just got people we know within the organization who had not received cards. And then we expanded it from there. So he didn't receive one, my secretary didn't receive one.
Well, Mr. Trigger, did you serve as an election judge in November?
Yes. They both served as election judges.
Richard Freeman ran against. Since Richard Freeman ran against old man David.
There's a name out of the past. Well, are you going to serve as an election judge this time?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're all set.
We did resubmit his
But
application.
the point is that you didn't get the postcard.
This is what, as I already stated, I've been looking at politics since Richard Freeman time. This is systemic with the board. It'll round up going to cases. Once it gets behind closed doors, it'll do the Chicago shuffle and it'll be in court. Y'all know it. Civil service know it.
No, that's okay. I'm all right with him saying that. Because I'm just, it's okay with me that he says it because I want him to get it out, not just think it and walk around mad. Okay, so I want to work with you because and I know you don't believe what I'm saying, but there's no reason for us not to have good, qualified, competent election judges and good, qualified, competent Republican election judges. I'm with you on that, okay? I know you may not believe me, but I am. Mr. Mack.
Carlos is one of our judges, long-serving judges.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
My secretary, who's been a long-serving judge for the Republican Party, also didn't receive a card. She's not here today.
Okay, did she
But
get
I
a
have a
check?
list.
Did she get a
Yeah,
check?
she got a check. She worked last election, went to training class. And
Okay, we need her name.
so I have a listing of about 25 people.
Do you have them with you?
I'll have to fax it to
Because
you.
I need that
I'll
list.
fax it to you when I get back to the office. So that was the first concern, but we did compile a short, just a brief list of people right within the 6th ward and the adjacent 8th ward. But the other thing was, I was told by someone, and I'm not sure who it was, but it was someone from the board. So I was asking about why some people had got cards, yes, no cards, and something like that. And I was told that if they went to training class last time, then they didn't get a card.
No,
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
true.
no. That's
And
not,
so-
that's not the yes/no card.
And this was someone on staff,
Nope.
on 6th floor, who shared this with me.
Okay, so what is it, Kelly?
Okay, so
What- clarify.
every single judge that worked in November would have received a yes/no card. Judges who were trained prior to the November election did not receive a letter to go to training this election, this time. We're in the middle of training right now. Only judges who weren't trained before November or new judges have been invited to a training, and that's a letter to go to a training. So that's the difference. And the commission cards or the assignment letters, we have not sent out yet. They'll probably go out at the end of this
And that
week.
may be
But the assignment letters have not been
That may
mailed
be-
out
that-
yet.
That may be
Assignment
exactly,
letters are
exactly,
They
yeah.
haven't
Well,
been out. We
yeah,
usually
some people
typically
are
send
getting
them out
cards.
10 days.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But some people are getting the cards, and again, for that reason, and the other ones who served haven't got them yet, maybe, so.
Well, no, it's a yes/no card. Everybody got those. The letter for training only goes to individuals who either didn't attend a training before November or are new judges and have to go to training. The assignment letters that tells the judge where they're supposed to work on election day, none of those have gone out yet. Those will go out typically 10 days before the election.
Okay, so
So.
the last point I wanted to make is that, again, on behalf of the Judge Association and the Chairman, Dale Marr, again, we're not here to be adversarial.
No, we're
Mr.
not.
Chairman. And we really want to work with you guys to make sure, again, we get competent, qualified, good judges, and to make your job as easy as possible, and to help us recruit as many judges as
Yes.
we need to recruit. So to that extent, we continue to work with you, you know, and we continue to throw stuff to you and say, hey, put our judges in. And we're going to continue, you know, to, I don't call it harassment, but we're going to continue to push you guys.
That's right.
And to make, you know, the Chicago board the best board in the nation. I think you're about second best now.
Second? Okay, well, we try harder.
Yes, sir. But we're going to continue to push you guys. I want you to know, to make sure we can get this process 100% if we can.
Thank you, Mr. Mack.
So-
We appreciate you, and again, we sometimes we all get frustrated, but it's not because we're not working together toward a common goal. My frustration is that I think we have a substantial number of incomplete applications, and that's, but I know Ms. Maroney disagrees with me, but we got to, what we have to do is document that, and so that we can
James, go ahead.
we can
Because
find those
you guys
people.
use it as a cloud all the time against us.
And-
Keep saying it's our
Okay.
application.
But
Ms. Maroney?
I'm gonna give you a second bite of the apple.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, now, we were saying about incomplete applications.
Yeah.
Myself, you know, I constantly, I go out myself and recruit judges for you guys
Yes,
and
sir.
everything else. And I make sure, I ask them, first thing I ask, are you a registered voter? Because that's a requirement to be a judge.
You
And I
can-
tell everybody that.
And sir, let me tell you, there are a bunch of disappointed candidates out there who are not on the ballot because they were told by people who signed their
But then
nominations
also, we
that they're
have come
registered.
into the office, and we have computers.
Yeah.
We look them up, or I even, on the street, I have my iPad.
Yeah.
And I got Wi-Fi, you know.
Yeah.
So I can look them up right then and there to see if they're registered. If they're not registered, I don't give them my application because it's wasting my time and wasting your time.
Yes. So what we're gonna do here, we got your information, and we're gonna just communicate, get a list here
Okay.
of tracking that down, so that,
Okay.
I think, we just need to get the facts here,
Okay.
because,
We want our 500 judges placed.
Okay.
okay, Ms. Maroney, thank you.
And I just have, Mr. Macklin, I just have one question. Are you intending to do any robocalls again? And, well,
No,
I'm,
sir.
I just want to know, you know, is that going to happen this time around?
Actually, I was not involved in the first robocall, so I'm not sure if they'll be done again, but I don't anticipate that we're gonna be doing any robocalls. We anticipate working more closely with the board to facilitate getting these judges in, as opposed to robocalls. So, now, I will share this with you, we do intend on calling our judges and having them come in, so we can make sure that they know where they're going, and they got their letter, didn't get their letter. So, for example, this Saturday, 6 ward organizations going to call on our judges in. So, hey, did you get your letter? If not got your letter, okay, should be coming if not, here's the board's number. Are you where you were last time? Did you get removed? So we're going to facilitate that, make sure they meet the other judges who are working with them, who are in the same area. And we're going to do that for each ward.
Well, when does the letter go out, Ms. Bateman?
I'll double check, but I believe it's this week, so.
So I don't
when
know
it-
if Saturday will be
Okay, so I'll
in
let them know
time.
that.
Is it this Saturday
Yeah.
or the Saturday before the election?
This Saturday.
All right.
But the other wards won't be doing it until the next Saturday. So this Saturday
Okay.
is the earliest, but I'll again let them know that the letter may be not coming till next week.
Yeah, Ms. Bateman will check exactly when that letter goes out. Okay, thank you all. We'll keep working on this issue, trust me, sir. And if you need to sue me, go ahead. But I think we can resolve this without a judge. Yeah.
Okay.
How are we going to get our judges placed? Who's going to respond to
I
it?
think
We're
we're,
going to respond, Mr. Marone.
yeah.
Okay, anything else to come before the board today? Thank you all for your participation in our meeting process. If
Okay.
nothing else to come before the board, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.